Hello, good afternoon. My name is Yaron Bielous. I am the head of the cloud at Allot Communications. And I'm going actually to speak a bit about Allot and our optimization and security offering in the next 15 minutes or 14 minutes. So, first of all, a bit about Allot Communications. So, Allot was founded in 1996. We are a public company, trading NASDAQ. We are selling to enterprises to manage hosting services or cloud service providers. We sell to network service providers, either fixed or mobile, and most probably if you are using today your mobile or broadband communication, you would actually get some of the services from the service providers that are using our products in order to deliver these services. We have an extensive partner ecosystems. Here at Greece, we are a part of Adcom. Adcom is our reseller. As a company, so last year we had a revenue of 117 million, and we have a global presence almost in 100 countries. So a bit of our view of the internet in the one. So the users which are at the one side were always on the campus or in the branch office. And they got, let's say, the data center applications from whether that was Oracle or an e-commerce application or whatever it is, mainly over the WAN. And to some degree, they also get services from the internet. But actually, nowadays, every one of us, first of all, is using enterprise applications while they are at home or they are on the road. And all of us are using public clouds. So either this is Salesforce, Office 365, Dropbox, WebEx, and I can tell you that even Facebook is being actually an enterprise applications because a lot of HR people are using Facebook in order to check profiles. LinkedIn, when you're looking for a business partner, you will search in LinkedIn. When you are providing, let's say, a WebEx or GoToMeeting, a webinar for training. So what we know from the market is that the trend of migration of the IT from the data center or a private cloud, if already it passes some modernization, and the usage of software as a service and public cloud application increases. So somehow, what used to be, let's say, the IT, which is mostly in-house at the enterprise, tends to be that the IT is everywhere. So risks are basically everywhere because the internet becomes the new IT. That's the reality. And to ensure availability, performance, and security across the clouds became to be a very significant challenge. Just to speak about the solution domain that we cover, so first of all, of course, we have the platforms, and we have our platforms, including chassis platforms, appliances, and virtual appliances. We are definitely very, very much into the NFV area, and and we are supporting customers from internet in one link of 50 meg up to 500 gigabit of traffic with our very large chassis platforms. From technology perspective, I want actually to speak about the DPI Technology, which is something that the company is dealing with for the last 20 years. And maybe I will start with the example that you know from many years. In the beginning, third generation firewall was all layer 3. Most of them were basically ACLs at the IP layer, then the stateful inspection firewall coming in. understanding the TCP and the UDP traffic. But then actually what was happening is that if you was able to identify applications with port, then everything tends to be port 80 because of the firewall, and it's coming to be more and more challenging to understand network transactions. And this is actually one of the areas that we are dealing with and definitely shine. The other area which we are dealing with is with network traffic analysis and with reporting of the traffic for multiple use cases. And the third engine that we are heavily dealing with is the policy control and application control. So policy control, whether this is actually Active Directory integration, diameter in service providers, and so forth. And that way we are providing basically a service on a user level. Now, what are the applications that we are having? One of them is the cloud access security, that handling threat detection, DDoS protection, and web security. And the other one is cloud access optimization, which deals with application awareness, quality of service, policy management, enforcement, and traffic steering. So some of the existing challenges in the analyzing transactions is the fact that, most of the traffic nowadays is more and more encrypted under SSL, under HTTP 2.0, and so forth. And this is actually one of the main challenges that our customers are having, meaning to identify traffic, encrypted traffic, is a significant challenge. The other one is anonymizer. I believe that many of us are familiar with the Tor networks and with the fact that basically the application nowadays, or the user or the hacker would try to do some malicious activities under the Tor and the anonymizer network. And just to know that a user is using a Tor browser and he is in my enterprise network and he's going to anonymizers, or a transaction coming from anonymizer or a Tor network into my application, just that by itself helps me in order to figure out that potentially there is malicious activity which is hidden behind the scene. So this is actually one case where you have actually the anonymizer network, as you may be familiar with, anonymizer networks using multi-tier incoming relays and outgoing tier. So, and every, the selection of the path is randomized, and also all the traffic inside between every two hops is encrypted. So basically, this is some of the challenges that we are dealing with and know how to handle. So just to give you some schematic of what do we identify. So first of all, the user, meaning the fact that we can associate a user with a transaction. And the user can be in a mobile network. It can be, my mobile phone number associated with my with my transaction, the location that I'm coming from, whether this is the campus, the branch in the mobile network, whether this is actually from a cell or radio access network, the endpoint device, whether I'm using tablet, Android, iPhone, what is the browser that I would use, either this is Chrome or whatever it is. Then actually the network awareness, which is, let's say, the network parameters associated with the transaction, the applications that I would use, and not just the application, but the exact content that I will use. For example, in the case that, in the transaction, there is a video transaction, I would want to know who is the publisher, what is the video name, and so forth. And then the use of this information for experience management, and operation intelligence for the operation staff, policy control and application control in order to optimize quality of experience and to identify service degradations, and security intelligence in order to help organizations to reach regulatory compliance, with all the financial industry, PCI compliance, and with SIM integration. We just hear about the Q-Radar system that IBM is promoting, which is, one of the famous SIM. And of course, we also provide or deliver analytics tools and big data intelligence. And everything is directly from the wire, either this is actually on the WAN link or the internet link. As said, the whole IT is going to the internet, so threats are everywhere. I just mentioned the analytics that we are providing. So, for example, in this case, the web analytics and the web intelligence that you may gain, or you may track individual user activity and figure out what is the application that the user is using, when he is using that application, for how long. For example, there are institutions that would want actually to limit the time that a user would use social applications, for example, and on which device, whether the device is vulnerable, whether the device, let's say, needs to be upgraded or just it. So what are the actions that we are taking, or measurements that we are taking in order on the prevention side? So one of them is denial of service protection. Denial of service, and we all familiar with the malicious activities on the internet and with denial of service attack. And there is a growing number of ways how to attack the network infrastructure, the network services, and the applications. And we are delivering a solution that, using network behavioral analysis, will identify malicious traffic, and you will be able actually to stop denial of service attack, and also to audit, of course, the user activity, as I mentioned. And on the other side, to protect the endpoint. So we are delivering URL filtering in 2 levels. One of them, blacklist, whitelist. Full categorized content filtering, which includes, let's say, anti-phishing, IP reputation, and full categorized database. And the third layer is the antivirus, anti-malware approach in order to identify files and content that will be downloaded from the internet or through the mail. And everything as a multi-tenant solution. So just as a summary, so the cyber intelligence, we are providing a leading anonymity and encryption awareness for applications, as I mentioned, with highly granular transaction information at a very high scale on the network side as well as on the data collection side, on the web security, the content filtering to illegal web services and the anti-malware protection, and on the network protection, the zero-day denial of service mitigation as a first line of defense. So thank you very much for your listening, and enjoy your stay.